The world of The Witcher is probably the most iconic Slavic fantasy universe out there, and it needs no introduction. Andrzej Sapkowski's book series about the monster hunter Geralt of Rivia has grown into a full-blown franchise with games, animated films, and a TV series. Its stunning landscapes, deep forests, and dark caves are home not only to humans, elves, and vampires, but to some truly terrifying monsters. So, who did Geralt hunt? And who could have hunted him? This is Slavic, where we talk about Slavic culture and history. In today's video, I'll tell you about 9 of the scariest monsters from the Witcher universe. You'll watch this video till the end, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It's very important for us. Foglers are nasty creatures that live in swamps and coastal lowlands. They have hunched, bony bodies, long four-finger arms with terrifying claws, big heads with sharp ears and wide jaws, and pupilless eyes. Despite looking fragile, Foglers are actually taller and bigger than humans, and much stronger. They attack suddenly, usually under the cover of thick fog. A Fogler can vanish and reappear a few meters away, striking with fast, furious blows. They often hunt in packs and are basically scavengers, but they will go after the living if they're hungry. Their screech can stun you, and their claws leave deep, infected wounds. In The Witcher 3, Foglers appear quite often, especially around swamps and at night. Even though they're considered common monsters, seasoned Witchers always stay cautious because of their unpredictability and deadly ambush tactics. A Bruxa is an extremely dangerous type of higher vampire. She appears as a beautiful woman, slender with long black hair, pale skin, and a voice that sounds like a rustling leaves. But behind that mask hides a creature of terrifying strength. Bruxa are intelligent and capable of analytical thought, though not as developed as true higher vampires. They're driven more by instinct, but they do experience human emotions and are even capable of love. They can speak, including in the language of higher vampires, though they usually prefer to communicate telepathically. In their combat form, a Bruxa changes drastically. Her pretty face twists, her mouth stretches nearly to her ears, her skin pulls tightly over bone and muscle, and her nails turn into claws. Bruxa are much stronger and faster than humans, so fast and agile that even a Witcher may struggle to keep up. Bruxa can turn invisible and unleash a piercing, high-pitched scream, so powerful it can knock a grown man down, stun him, and leave him disoriented. Like all vampires, they have high resistance to physical damage and rapid regeneration. They tend to avoid crowds and cities, living in remote forests or caves. Still, some Bruxa manage to blend into human society and live among people. When they drink blood, they often sing, which is why you might hear haunting melodies and see flocks of birds around their hiding places. Blood is essential to their survival, but they don't always kill their victims. In fact, they often feed repeatedly on the same person, someone enchanted or in love, who can't or won't resist. Bruxa are incredibly dangerous, and even Witchers have died fighting them. It's unclear what exactly can kill one. Decapitation definitely works, and it seems the heart is also a weak point. Before we move on to even more terrifying creatures, tell us which Witcher monster is your favorite. And don't forget, you can support us on Patreon or right here on YouTube. A Fiend is one of the most terrifying and impressive monsters a Witcher can ever face. Imagine a creature with a massive body covered in dark fur, a huge head crowned with antlers, and 3 glowing eyes. 2 of them are where you'd expect, like on any animal, but the third is right in the middle of its forehead. That eye is what makes the Fiend especially dangerous. Fiends dwell in deep forests, swamps, and remote plains. They fiercely guard their territory and violently tear apart anyone who enters it. These monsters are omnivores, feeding on meat and plants alike. Some say Fiends are born through black magic, from a cursed bear and a wild boar. If the strange offspring survives and it's raised by the witch who created it, it grows into a full Fiend, with the strength of a bear, the rage of a boar, and complete loyalty to its mistress. In battle, the Fiend relies not only on brute force and resilience, but also on a terrifying weapon, its third eye. Positioned in the center of its head, it can hypnotize its victim. The stunned enemy sees nothing but the burning eye, and most of the time, it's the last thing they'll ever see. In the Witcher games, meeting a Fiend is a real survival challenge. It's incredibly strong and heals quickly. That first encounter leaves a mark. The forest, the fog, the heavy footsteps, and suddenly, 3 glowing eyes in the dark. Katakan is another type of vampire, but a completely different kind. These aren't elegant killers like Bruxa, they're beasts. Katakans look like massive 2.5 meter tall bat-like creatures with skin in shades of grayish-purple that vary in intensity and darkness. They have long whiskers and a beard, pointed ears and long claws that continue to grow throughout their lives. Katakans like to store food in advance. It can stay in their stomachs and digest slowly for years. They have very strong legs that let them jump long distances, or move so quickly that it's almost impossible to time an attack. Although their bat-like form is natural and primary, some Katakans can shapeshift into human, or gain this ability as they get older. On top of their incredible speed and brute strength, they also have telepathic powers, can turn invisible, and aren't bothered by sunlight at all. Like many other vampires, they heal quickly and regenerate from most wounds in seconds. They're also extremely long-lived, some surviving for centuries and may even be immortal. The Griffin is a hybrid creature, part lion, part eagle. From the lion, it gets its body, mane, hind legs, and a tufted tail. From the eagle, its head, wings, and front talons. With wingspans reaching over 5 meters, griffins can fly at high speeds, using the grace of flight as a major advantage when hunting. On the ground, however, they're just as dangerous, moving with cat-like agility and strength, though they always try to take to the air when fighting. Griffins originally lived high in the mountains, where they built nests and laid eggs like birds. They're extremely territorial and fiercely protect their hunting grounds. But when the first human settlers arrived on the continent, roads and trade routes expanded, more travelers appeared, and shepherds brought their flocks to new pastures. That's when griffins realized it was easier to find food down on the plains. Like eagles, griffins hunt by spotting their target from above, usually cattle or sometimes people, and also rely on their sharp sense of smell. These stubborn, aggressive and powerful beasts have brutal strength and don't fear even large, well-armed groups of humans, or even fiends. When a griffin sees a target, it lets out a long, piercing scream as a warning, then dives from the sky like a falling rock. The impact of its massive body knocks the victim down, crushes bones and tears flesh. If that's not enough, the griffin uses its razor-sharp claws and beak to shred its prey into pieces. And while they might look majestic, griffins also have a cruel side and are known to rip flesh from their victims while they're still alive, piece by piece. A Striga is a monster from the Curse class, part of the ghoul family in the subgroup of night creatures. It appears when a curse is placed on a person at any age or on a pregnant woman. Each Striga is more or less unique, depending on how the curse was cast. That's why breaking the curse isn't always the same. The standard way is to keep the creature out of its tomb or sarcophagus until the third crow of the rooster, which means a specific moment before sunrise. But sometimes it's more complicated. The Striga might need to be kept out for 3 nights in a row, or the curse might not be breakable at all. On the outside, the Striga looks like a short but bulky and muscular humanoid with a barrel-shaped body and dark skin. Its head is overly large and stretched, sitting on a short neck with glowing, bulging eyes and a huge mouth full of teeth, including 2 pairs of very long upper fangs. Its front limbs are unusually long, and its fingers end in long, sharp, straight claws. Strigas often keep some features from the person they used to be, like their hair color. They also heal quickly thanks to fast regeneration. Even though it's not that big and may look clumsy, the Striga is very fast, climbs well, and has superhuman strength. It can leap 10 meters without a running start and easily kill a grown man or even a witcher. While Strigas act like beasts, they're still smart enough to avoid traps and are much more clever than regular wild animals. A Noonwraith is a ghost of a woman who died while working in the fields or during the wedding. She appears at noon, in the hottest part of the day, and kills anyone who disturbs her peace. She looks like a worn-out, sorrowful young woman with deeply tanned skin and long hair, dressed in a torn white gown. Driven mad by pain and hatred, Noonwraiths wander in search of unfaithful lovers or romantic rivals from their past, but they kill anyone who crosses their path. What keeps them tied to the world of the living is usually an object with deep emotional meaning. That's why, if you ever find a wedding ring or a ripped veil in an open field, it's better not to touch it and to walk away as fast as possible. Noonwraiths appear only in the countryside, usually near the place where they die. Their victims are often farmers working in the fields or children playing nearby. They don't bleed and are highly resistant to most witcher signs. This spirit can also affect the physical world to some degree, lifting clouds of dust that can blind and disorient her enemies, even if only for a moment. In Slavic mythology, the Leshy is a forest spirit that protects nature. The Leshy looks like a tall humanoid figure covered in bark, moss, and branch-like tentacles. He has antlers like a deer and a skull instead of a face. In The Witcher 3, the Leshy can vanish, move through the trees, summon flocks of crows and packs of wolves, attack with sharp claws, and worst of all, control the forest itself. The Leshy usually feeds on wild animals and avoids humans. But if a two-legged stranger enters the forest and disrespects nature, the Leshy won't wait. He'll sneak up and snap their necks or smash their skulls with dry, bony fist. Sometimes this feared creature even heals other forest beings or calls knackers and ravens to defend the woods. His attacks are slow but deadly. In all legends, Leshys would lead travelers off their paths, steal children, and take revenge on those who cut down trees. Fun fact, the Striga, the Noonwraith, and the Leshy are all real creatures from Slavic mythology. You can learn more about them and many others in our videos, but only after you meet today's final monster. To be honest, he is my favorite. A person can become a werewolf through a curse, or be born one if either parent is a werewolf. Depending on how the condition started, how the curse works, and the person's own nature, a werewolf might transform at will, only during certain times like a full moon, or even stay in wolf form permanently. Some lose control when they change, while others stay fully conscious and gain only the physical advantages of a wolf. Even in human form, werewolves have an incredibly sharp sense of smell and hearing, sometimes even better than a witcher's. They also heal quickly and have unnatural speed and agility. They have unusually long limbs and mostly move on their two hind legs, sometimes using their front limbs for support. They have long claws, sharp teeth, and strong fangs. Their fingers keep the shape, flexibility, and movement of human hands. Even when hunched over, werewolves are taller than a person, and when they stand up straight, they can be about 1.5 times a human's height. A werewolf who's fully aware of their actions is rare. Most can't control their transformation or remember the violence they caused while in wolf form. During that time, they're driven by bloodlust and animal instinct. Even so, they still function with a human-level brain and are far smarter than normal animals. Sometimes they can even regain awareness and speak clearly. Werewolves are most active during a full moon. They usually hunt alone, but they can control regular wolves and call them for help if needed. That was my personal list of the scariest monsters from The Witcher. What do you think? I'm sure you remember some other monsters that didn't make it into this video. so be sure to tell me about them in the comments. Also, let us know if you should make a part 2. And thanks for your support, and see you in the next video.